This is just a quick introduction to leveling in Photoshop. So we're just going to show you some of the adjustment layers that you can apply to your photograph. So first things first, I'm going to show you how to convert your image to black and white. Now there's several ways that you can do this. Many people sometimes desaturate. There is actually a function as well in Photoshop that allows you to change it to black and white. However, what we find the best tool to use is what's called the gradient map. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go to Window at the top of the screen, and we are going to go to this here where it says Adjustments. And what that does is it brings up these adjustment layers here. Now, if I just go to Window again and go to Layers, the reason why we use the adjustment layers, I just need this to show you. So this one here is the gradient map tool. So if I click on this, you'll get this box up here. Now, at the minute, it will automatically set to whatever is on your colour palette. So in this case, I've got white and a form of black on the colour palette, but you can see that it's inverted. So what it's doing is it's giving us the negative. So to stop that from happening, you just click on this little arrow here, the drop down, and go to here where it says Basic. Now, this is your colour palette. This is where it fades from the top colour to transparent. And then this is the one that we're wanting, which is the true black and true white. So if you click on here, and it's converted your image to black and white. Now, by doing that, you can see it's created this new adjustment layer above my photograph. So if it is that you ever want to adjust it or you want to delete it, you can just, delete it if you wish and start again. If you decide to do leveling through the original route where you'd go image and adjustments, once you've leveled it, you can't really go back. So it's better to have these adjustments as separate layers, just in case you need to go back and tweak anything. So the next one we're going to do is your level tool, which is the second one here. You can see looks like a little graph. So we click on that. And here's your levels. So what this does is, this image is what we call a histogram, and it records all the pixels in your image. So it records the black pixels here, the mid-tone pixels, and the highlights, the white pixels here. So you can see when you look at this histogram, what it's telling me is there's quite a high level of light pixels, which when you look at the photograph, you can see them here. And then it's got sort of mid to dark pixels, which would be probably recording this piece of concrete, or sorry, the tarmac there. So what we're going to do is we're just going to move these sliders in. So if you click on this slider, and if you just watch the image, you can see how it's going darker. Okay. Now, leveling is just about adding contrast to the image. That's all you're doing. So by moving these sliders, we're just going to create contrast and highlight. There you go. So you don't want to go too high. So if you go, obviously, if I push this slider in too far, you get this awful it's like a burn image. Like when you print that, it'll be absolutely awful. So we just pull that back. We just want to add a little bit, so you're not losing any of this detail here in the brickwork. Now, you can move the mid-tone. Try and avoid this, but you can move the mid-tone if you need to. So if I move the mid-tone towards the image, you can see there it's making it darker. If I move it towards the dark tones, you can see it's making it lighter. For those of you that are struggling with light in your photograph, if the day that you went out it wasn't very sunny, you might find that you'd have to move your mid-tone ever so slightly. So once I'm happy with that, just get rid of that there. So this is the image before we've leveled it, and that's the image after. Now, if you go to save this image now, it will automatically save it as a PSD, which is fine if you're going to reopen it in Photoshop. If it is that you're going to put this into a Pages document or you're going to put it into a Keynote, you'd need to make sure that you flatten these layers. So in order to do that, you go to Layer at the top and then just go to Flatten Image. And as you see, those layers all become one. Now, once you've done that, if you save that now as a JPEG, there's no going back. So you can't open an old JPEG and then open those layers out separately again. You can't do that. So you need to make sure that you are 100% happy with the image before you save it. So all you do, go to File, Save As, and then just save that as a JPEG.